Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Joe Palmer begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Tasmania's fire authorities are calling for more interstate help to deal with a growing and protracted bushfire fight. There are at least 50 active fires burning from dry lightning strikes, and the TFS is worried more blazes will break out from smouldering hits. The fire's also triggering health alerts, with high levels of smoke trapped over several communities.
A thick haze descending on Hobart this morning, the sign of at least 50 fires burning across the state. Most are in bushwalking and wildlife areas away from communities. Today's main danger, the air quality.
There are some people who are more vulnerable to the effects of smoke on their health. That's people with chronic conditions like heart disease, lung disease, asthma, and older people and young babies are also more sensitive to smoke.
In the Huon Valley, small particle levels were 6 times the national air quality standards. Smoke trapped by an inversion layer and lack of wind.
When we've got a low level inversion, it kind of acts as a lid on the atmosphere, so the smoke underneath it doesn't get to disperse. So that's been a bit of a feature of the lack of wind over the last few days, that we haven't really been able to have a change to move through and flush things out. The big Hercules water bomber deployed again today on the southeastern edge of the Great Pine Tier fire, which went to emergency warning yesterday. The blaze now listed at advice level with no immediate threat. Fire crews have contained 20 bushfires so far, but there are still dozens more. As they grapple with the escalation in activity, authorities putting in a request for help from interstate and possibly New Zealand.
We do need further support. We are at maximum capacity. Whilst we have some 50 people from interstate here now, we are planning today to request an additional 80 personnel.
In addition to the Gel River fire near Lake Gordon, at least 25 fires have been detected in the Southwest National Park. Efforts now to try and map and understand the likely fire behaviour.
We'll also be asking for some specialist fire behaviour analysts. We've only got a few in Tasmania, and they will help us plan and project what we need to deal with these fires longer term.
Parks and Wildlife has already evacuated bushwalkers and closed several tracks, and is urging people to be careful in coming days in remote areas and use logbooks so they can track visitors down.
The message is not to venture out in remote areas unless you've obtained information, reliable information that the area is safe. And once again, if you check the TFS website and the Parks website.
A cold front is expected to cross the state tomorrow, bringing cooler conditions, strengthening winds and a small amount of rain. But mid-next week, temperatures are likely to soar again.
It's been very warm in Victoria, New South Wales and South Australia, so there's bank of heat up to our north. So as soon as we get a day when we get northerly winds, that's going to push that warm, dry air mass over Tasmania.
A big worry for lightning strikes possibly still smouldering that could turn into more trouble for firefighters. Tasmanians urged to help by remaining vigilant and reporting any new fires. Michael Breen, 7 Tasmania News.
A 35-year-old Lewisham man has faced Hobart Magistrates Court in relation to an alleged connection to a $1 million ice seizure last year. In August, another man was arrested at Hobart Airport and was found to have 1 kilogram of the drug stashed in his underpants. Police yesterday arrested Sean Howlett and charged him with trafficking a controlled substance after allegedly connecting the two men by tracing phone records. Mr Howlett did not enter a plea today and was bailed to reappear in court on March 18. A third person has been charged over the alleged shooting of a Noonamara man at Kings Meadows last week. Marcus Williams, aged 32, today faced the Launceston Magistrates Court alongside 29-year-old Jacob Williams. The pair has pleaded not guilty to causing grievous bodily harm and aggravated armed robbery. Both were remanded in custody. A 23-year-old Kings Meadows woman will also front court in March over being an accessory after the fact. Police say while they're treating firearms crimes seriously, incidents in the state are rare. And the body of a mother missing in the searing Pilbara heat has been found. Police say Felicity Shadbolt's body was found in the search zone by a member of the public at around 7 last night. The wife of former Tasmanian Drew Shadbolt vanished on Sunday after going for a routine run at Mount Nameless just outside Tom Price. A team of detectives and forensic officers have been flown in, but at this stage they don't believe her death is suspicious. The nursing union has voted to escalate its industrial action as an ongoing dispute over wages continues to drag on. For more than 6 months, the union has been protesting against the government's offered 2% wages cap, calling for better pay and conditions. But at a negotiating meeting today, they say no formal offer was put on the table.
The Chair has confirmed that we should expect an offer early next week, but they sought clarification on sort of 3 key priority areas that are contained within logger claims.
There are workforce issues, there are issues with recognition and retention of staff. This is not just about money, it's not just about wages, it's about achieving safe workplaces.
The union will now increase its ban on overtime and double shifts to 2 days a week for the next 2 weeks, vowing to keep escalating action until a deal can be made. It's been just over a year since the first same-sex marriage was hosted in Tasmania, and already the region is becoming a hotspot for couples to tie the knot. New data now showing more than 5% of all marriages in the state last year were same-sex couples.
A rainbow drink to celebrate one very special milestone. Cheers! 1 year ago, Ros and Laney tied the knot, the first same-sex marriage in Tasmania after the landmark vote in 2017.
We were lucky that we were able to be that couple, and it's
made the wedding day feel like it hasn't finished yet. It's still like a celebration.
Since then, there's been 136 same-sex marriages in Tasmania, about 5% of all weddings.
It's been a bit of a whirlwind, to be honest. Like I said, things keep popping up from our wedding day and have been over the sort of past 12 months, and it's just a constant reminder of how lucky we are.
To be able to see those couples included and embraced by their families and their local communities is a reminder to me of what it was all about.
Many couples travelling to the state to say their vows. A rainbow accreditation program now offered to businesses to show they welcome the LGBTI community.
20 years ago, very different story. Probably 10 years ago, very different story. So it's like we've been on a long journey as an industry and as a community, and I think the fact that Tasmania voted higher than the national average, I think Tasmania has embraced it.
Tasmania coming a long way since it was the last state to decriminalise homosexuality in 1997.
We don't need statistics to show us that. We can feel it in our hearts. We can see it in the celebrations that have occurred across our state in the last 12 months of the love and commitment in so many same-sex relationships.
Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
Anticipation is building across the state tonight ahead of what could be the nation's biggest lottery jackpot. Our reporter Louise Hedger joins us live from a Salamanca news agency. Lou, good evening. Tasmanians are jumping on that Powerball bandwagon.
They certainly are, Joe. Here at this news agency, the tills have been absolutely running hot with Tasmanians getting their last-minute tickets for tonight's Powerball. There's just over 2 hours until the cut-off to buy those tickets, with Tasmanians hoping to score a slice of the $100 million prize. According to lottery authorities, 1 in 3 people across Tasmania have thrown their hat in the ring for that tonight. Staff say they've been absolutely inundated here at this news agency today and over the last few days.
Oh, extremely busy actually, and I think people came into the shop not wanting a lotto ticket and Powerball, and they'd come out, they'd leave with one.
Now, Joe, if a single winner wins this jackpot tonight, it would be the biggest individual lottery prize ever won in Australia. Results are expected sometime after 9:30 tonight, Joe, and I have my ticket ready with all of my fingers and my toes crossed, so wish me luck.
Yeah, I do wish you luck, Lou. You have to buy me a bottle of bubbles if it comes off for you. Authorities are on alert for an invasive weed in the foothills of Mount Wellington. Council is urging fern tree residents to be vigilant of orange hawkweed. Detection crews will be sent out over the coming weeks in an effort to eradicate the aggressive European weed. Maureen Williamson has found hundreds on her property.
The orange hawkweed is particularly worrying because it actually gets into our native bush and takes over the plants there, which is just not a good look, and it blocks off the waterways.
It looks similar to flatweeds but displays bright orange flowers. While looking pretty, it's become a major pest in alpine regions interstate. In Tasmania, it's only believed to have spread to Fern Tree and the Central Highlands. Tasmanians are being encouraged to get up and get moving to raise money for a vital program providing supported accommodation for young mums. The Hobart City Mission's annual Great Southern Pram Push fundraiser kicks off next month, challenging participants to walk 10,000 steps a day for 2 weeks, with all money raised going back to the Small Steps program.
We don't get any ongoing government funding for the program. So we look to the community to support us to run that program. So it's a community-funded program helping other members of the community.
All new parents find it really challenging, but when you have some other barriers in front of you, when you're quite young, you may not have the same level of networks as other young mums do, then you need all the support you can get.
Registrations are now open on the fundraiser's website. A blinding blizzard of flickering TVs and funky music makes up one of Mona Foma's most electric performances. The dazzling dance mirrors a scene in a cult classic film and is designed to challenge its audience.
It's loud, layered in latex, and it's likely to haunt even a horror movie fan.
You know, we always see TVs in horror movies, especially thinking back to the 80s and stuff where TVs were always like possessed or haunted.
Inspired by a scene from 80s cult film Possession, this is about breaking body beliefs.
Interrogation in terms of how the body can be possessed and where does the body find freedom and agency and unruliness.
There's a lot of heart in the show, although maybe not as much as you'll find at the Art of the Body exhibit.
I think it's an incredibly unique and wonderful opportunity that we've got.
Usually restricted to medical students, this human heart is open for public viewing, along with an insight into X-rays and a selection of classic sporting photos from Tasmania's past. The reason? To encourage healthy habits.
If we walk away and people are questioning their own well-being, their own health, that's a fantastic outcome.
And if that doesn't get your heart pumping, this surely will. All the way from Warsaw, Poland, Hanbar is a punk rock band reimagining history.
What if the punk rock music was not invented in the 1970s in the British Isles or USA, but in 1930s Poland, where the democracy was on the brink of collapse?
That's hard to beat. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
To golf, and Victorian Mitchell Crabb is leading at 9 under par after day one of the Tasmanian Junior Masters in Riverside. It was a close battle among the girls, with 3 South Australians sitting neck and neck at the top of the leaderboard.
It might be school holidays, but there's no taking time off from the dream. And Ryan Thomas has his eyes well beyond the next hole.
Obviously I want to turn pro and play as an elite player and play at the top level I can.
The teenager is about to juggle his clubs with Year 12 study. He's also moved from Launceston to Melbourne to be closer to the big comps.
I do feel a lot of pressure sometimes, and sometimes you get your best year, but it comes down to the sport. It's just what it is.
Around 40 young competitors are teeing off at this year's Junior Masters in Riverside. Plenty have come from interstate for the challenge. Some, like Tassie's Mackenzie Wilson, are regulars. While the morning brought mixed fortunes, she's keeping upbeat.
My handicap, definitely to come down, and yeah, not really any goals for scores, but just to keep improving.
The competition wraps up tomorrow.
Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
After only taking up the sport a year ago, 2 Tasmanian twins are preparing to represent the state at the National Cricket Inclusion Championships in Victoria. And it's not just their skills on the pitch that MJ and Tyson Parbs are keen to build on. Just over a year ago, Nicole Parbs struggled getting her twin boys out of the house. Now getting them to stop talking is the issue.
I'm just so proud of both of them, and how far they've come in the last 12 months is amazing.
Joining the state's Inclusion Cup competition, along with local club the Huonville Bulls 12 months ago, MJ and Tyson now train and play several times a week.
They're so supportive, whether, they've been smacked for 4, it's okay, next time, and everything's so encouraging, and I think that's why they've come out of their shell so much.
Well, it's about a bit of both, about the social side and the competitive side of it. I really like both those aspects.
Once I played the first game, as like MJ said, I got very addicted to it.
The pair got pretty good at it too, earning selection in the Tasmanian squad, set to represent the state at the National Inclusion Championships later this month, showcasing the country's most talented cricketers with an intellectual disability. Tyson, who recently dyed his hair purple in support of the Hobart Hurricanes, was pretty chuffed with the news.
I felt like doing flips off my roof. I felt like really doing just flips off my roof.
I hope you didn't do that.
Oh no, I didn't. I wanted to.
The pair fly out on Sunday for the 5-day tournament in Geelong. Mum Nicole will be there, trying to keep a close eye on her 16-year-old sons without cramping their style too much.
A lot of new opportunities to meet new people and talking about their lives and how they got interested in this sport. It's a really wonderful experience.
Who is the best cricketer out of you two?
Me. Just a heads up, me.
Who's the more modest?
MJ, probably.
Good evening. The Highlands found some much needed rain last night to ease the dry spell and the extended fire risk. Lake Mackenzie and Cradle Valley 7 millimetres to 9 a.m. Temperatures today above average. Hobart 25, Launceston 26, Burnie 24 and Devonport 23. Ooze warm again, 33 today. Bushy Park and Campania 30, King Island 29, Flinders 27, Grove and Strawn reached 26, Friendly Beaches and Lyawini 25 degrees. A cloud band moved over early this morning. We all saw that with a few showers and also the odd thunderstorm or two. It cleared the northeast as convective cloud developed in its wake. More rain-bearing cloud stretches back via Victoria and South Australia to WA. Isolated storms over the tropics as well, and patchy low cloud over the Queensland coast. Tomorrow a cold front approaches the state as a trough moves to the east. Now that extends through Central Australia as well. A high pressure ridge builds over the Bight. Northwest to southwest winds increasing to 20 to 30 knots in the afternoon, more variable over eastern waters with westerlies prevailing over the lakes. A strong wind warning for all coastal waters, a small craft wind alert for the lakes, and a very high fire danger from the Midland, Central North and Upper Derwent Valley still exists. Tomorrow, Hobart, a shower or two developing later, 26 the high, 28 for Huonville with a late shower, a hot day for Campania reaching 30. Launceston, partly cloudy but fine, 28 the top, 25 for Devonport, a morning shower clearing from Georgetown, a windy afternoon and 24. 25 the high for Burnie and partly cloudy, a late shower in the west for Strawn, 23 the top, 26 for Wynyard and partly cloudy. For St Helens tomorrow, partly cloudy as well, 26 the high, maybe a shower over Swansea, 24 the maximum, 24 as well for Port Arthur. The UV very high for Hobart but extreme for the rest of the state. On Saturday, fine apart from a shower over the west and possibly the south. An early shower over the west and south to start off Sunday, fine and sunny for most of the state. And on Monday, fine and mostly sunny as well with light winds and afternoon sea breezes. A sunny 32 in Perth tomorrow. A possible shower for Adelaide, a shower or two in Melbourne. Sunny in Sydney and 34 degrees. Canberra to reach 40 ahead of a storm. Partly cloudy and 22 in Hobart, sunny and 26 in Launceston right now and 22 in Devonport. Now, Joe, this time of year I always look forward to our crop of cherries. Love them. And this year I can decree this has been the best cherry crop in 10 years. But I know you don't give a pip.
Oh my gosh. All right. Thank you, Mayor, very much. That's all from the news team for now. I'm sorry. We'll be back with updates a little later. Bye-bye.